this. For those of you who don't know, I am with the man himself, the Dizzy Viper, Fabian Oberhammer. Fabian, what's going
Hi
on?
everybody, how are you doing? Ah, thanks for having me. Pretty
Oh,
great it is, but
it seems like your connection is very jumpy.
oh damn, wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna go out of the internet with my phone. Maybe that's better then. I
Try
hope so
it.
at least.
Try it.
Yeah. There we go.
Any,
It's like
anyway, dude,
yeah.
what's
I'm
going on?
ready.
What's the situation where you're at the moment? You live in the north of
Oh,
Italy.
we're in complete lockdown. Like we can't go outside except for grocery shopping. But to be honest, like that doesn't change anything in my day. Like it's just normal days for me. I don't go outside too much anyway, so yeah, no, it's like it's pretty bad, but it's more the people that like are the dangerous part of it, not the virus itself.
Yeah.
It's more like the people going nuts that is not dangerous, but like that is the real problem.
Yeah, I know people tend to be very weird when things like this happen, but hey.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Dude, listen,
Yeah.
however, my job here is to bring a little bit of entertainment to those guys that, like us, are creatives and are
Yeah.
trying to make something cool. Sometimes every day, you are one of those guys that actually does it every day. How many every days have you done so far?
So there are about 1,120 on Instagram, but in
Oh
total
my
it
god.
should be at 1,300 in total.
Wait, I'm gonna open up your Instagram.
Because I started using Instagram like 2 months after starting every day, so there are not all the every days on Instagram.
I understand. But I remember like looking at your work way uh, earlier than that, I think.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And last year, I had the pleasure to actually meet you in person at the
Yeah, right. In
DJ
Vienna.
conference. That was a lot of fun. Can I tell the story of
Yeah, of
the
course, of course.
so because we had this modeling competition where you and somebody else were on stage and you were given a set of 3D models from our friends at Evermotion, and then
Yeah,
everybody had to do um, both of you had to make an artwork. But there was a twist. The competition only lasted like what, 25 minutes?
I think 40 minutes.
40
Yeah,
minutes, okay, I forgot.
yeah,
And in these 40 minutes, every like 6 minutes, we had to do a shot of vodka and then drink a small glass of beer. And I
yeah.
remember I have very fuzzy memories about that competition because this year I decided to also participate in the drinking competition. And so it was a total mess because like after I don't know 4 or 5 drinks, I was already like, what the hell is going on here? And I remember I was trying to
Yeah.
entertain people on stage, and I was like talking to people, hey, how's it going? And what are you doing? And then I came up to you and I said, so what are you doing? What are you thinking to model? How is it going? And you looked at me. You were completely drunk. You were smiling, and you said to me, "This is the most fun I've ever had in my life." Do you remember?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Because I rewatched the live stream that
Jason did.
Jason, yeah, that Jason did, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun,
Yeah.
man.
And after that, I went out to dinner with Cornelius. Like
Okay.
we went out to get like I don't know, remember hamburgers or something. It was dope. Yeah.
It's unbelievable how much talent there was at the conference last year. I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
all the guys celebrities that always post their work
Yeah.
on social media. But anyway, today I want to talk to you a little bit about the work that you have done as a everyday, and also like explain to people what do you do, how you pay the bills, how do you make it as an
Yeah.
artist, what are the things that keep you busy, and what it is that you do that maybe other artists aren't doing. So
Sure, sure.
make an
So,
introduction about yourself. Be free to say whatever you want.
all right, yeah. So my name is Fabian Oberhammer. I'm known on Instagram as the Dizzy Viper. I've been doing everydays or daily renders for over 3 years now, and I'm using Cinema 4D and Octane to do that. Mainly inspired by Beeple, or well, I started doing it because of Beeple, and now I have so many people that inspire me that I can't even name all of them. Like there are, yeah, tons and tons of people. Some of them of which I became friends with now, which is amazing too, like 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗹𝗃 and 𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗃𝗲, for example. Um, and what else? So my main work or client work I get from these things are mostly album artwork and stage visuals. I've done work for Skrillex, I've done work for Excision lately, and that's a lot of fun too. And it's not my main job though. Like I just do it for as a hobby, and I want to keep it that way. My main job is I'm a what is it called in English? A sort of manager in my family's apartment hotel,
Okay.
which is my main job. And I did stage visuals and 3D design for as a main job for a little bit of time, but I didn't really enjoy it because I had to take every single commission I got, and also commissions that were not fun.
Yeah.
And now this gives me the possibility to choose commissions that I actually enjoy doing. And so, yeah, it gives me the freedom to choose. And that's really what I like about it.
Yes, I think it's a very cool thing that you're saying this because, um, often people try to do jobs like being an artist full time, and some of them they manage,
Yeah.
but some of them struggle a lot. And for those who struggle,
Yeah.
I always recommend, like there is nothing wrong in doing something else and try to put one and one together and get two out of it. And you're doing it
Exactly. Yeah.
relatively successfully, right? Do you feel like you overwork yourself?
Not at all. No. 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 Like there are obviously some times where you have a deadline that you have to meet, and sometimes it gets a little stressy. But I think that's normal. Like that is something that comes with this job. Like you have to. Sometimes it is just stressy, but it's not bad or anything. But I worked at a VFX studio for 6 months, where we did work on the trailer for Ready Player One there,
Okay.
and the whole 6 months were horrible. Not because the work was bad or the people. The people were very very nice. The work was cool. The environment super friendly and stuff. But I remember coming home after 9 hours, having to do another every day, and I was like, please leave me alone with this Cinema 4D. I can't see it anymore. And I thought it was slowly taking my passion away. So I after 6 months I said, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. Like you're all super nice, but it's not really my type of job. So I'm gonna do this part-time now for myself. And yeah, that's how it went. Because that's really this whole 3D CGI thing is the only real passion I have, and if that's gone, like I don't know what else I have. Like
That's
so, yeah,
that's lucky that it happens to you as a man in the field of like 3D and Cinema 4D. Imagine if you were a gynecologist.
oh yeah, I bet it happens to a lot of them too, though.
Hi guys, how are you? First of all, I wanted to say hi to all of them that are watching. There are 9 people watching. I do realize, Mike, that it's very early in the morning. Here in Tel Aviv, it's only 11:20. I guess in Italy it's 10:20. We wanted to, let's do a morning show. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking to start this new thing as those American shows where You know, people just
Oh
sit
yeah.
down and have coffee and breakfast. Maybe we'll do that in the world of 3D. But anyway, man, let me ask you, how long does it take for you to make one of your everyday artworks? I mean, you Twitch them, you stream them, so, you know,
Yeah.
people can see you doing them live. But can you please tell me a little bit more about the process and all?
Yeah, so it really depends on what I do. Like sometimes I have an idea in mind and I know that's gonna take long, and sometimes I just can't be arsed to do it, so I just do something else. But like in general, it takes between 1 and 2 hours for one image. Depending on how clear my idea is that I have before I start, it also varies. For example, if I know, yeah, I'm gonna do a car that is completely broken and inside a swamp, then that is a pretty clear idea because I already know what I have to do exactly, like the steps, and then I can do it within 40 minutes. And then obviously rendering takes a little longer, but then there are some days where I absolutely have no idea what I could do, and I just start by, I don't know, opening a kit bash and throwing some buildings around, and then figuring everything out can take like 2 hours. But yeah, usually like I rarely take longer than 2 hours for an everyday.
Okay, I see. And
Yeah.
okay. Oh, would you mind like putting some earpieces because I hear.
Oh yeah, sure. Wait, I'm gonna get my headphones. Hold on. There we go. Does it work?
Good. So we see a lot more people now joining us. Actually, it's not a lot more. It's 3 more people joining us. But hi Matteo, hi Mattei, hi Jesse, hi Geet. How are you guys? Okay, so one question that I wanted to have you. Does the competition ends now or Sunday? Now the competition ends on Sunday. Sunday at
Yes.
5 p.m. Central Europe time. And so if you are tuning in now, it will be Sunday, 6 hours from now. Yeah. Are you taking part into my competition?
Oh yes, I do.
Oh, really?
I am. Yeah.
Would you mind
Yeah,
sharing with me a little bit what idea you're exploring?
I already have it finished actually. I can show
Oh,
you.
really? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can. Where do I send it to you? Well, wait a minute.
You can do it on Facebook.
Yeah. Right. Wait. Where is it? There it is.
I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys and see what you send to us or to me. And I really hope that you had fun, because that's ultimately my goal. You know, these are times where people are not having fun, and so we need to force ourselves to have a little bit of fun. But I have to tell you, I'm already working on the next competition, which I don't want to share it yet. I'll announce it on Monday. The model, it's almost ready. I'm still working on it a little bit. Fabian, I can really tell that you live in the mountains because your internet connection is the worst.
Oh yeah, and you know what's the fun part? I have the fastest internet you can get here.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
How long
It's really
does it
bad.
take
And
for
now,
you to upload?
oh, like for example, those stage visuals I did for Excision were 50 gigabytes just for one clip.
Oh my god.
It took 2 days.
Oh Jesus. That is a long time.
Yeah.
People are saying, okay, no chance for me to win if the Dizzy Viper is also competing.
That's not true. Like, that is definitely like I've seen some artwork that people did with that car, which is amazing. Like,
have you seen the animation of this guy flying through the city?
Oh yeah, I did. That's amazing. Yeah, that's
blew
what I
my
mean. Like,
mind.
some of those are really good.
Yeah. And somebody wrote in the comments, he was like, oh my god, so much talent. People really don't have anything to do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I'm 5 days ahead already with my everyday. Like I have the everyday for in 5 days already.
Oh, really?
Like just because I don't have anything else to do.
That was one of the things that I wanted to ask you. Do you usually also like um, collect them, as in like you start working on something and then you maybe change your mind and then you finish something else and then you go back to the other one? Because I asked
Yes,
the
sometimes.
okay,
Yeah, sometimes I make an everyday and I think like, yeah, it's all right. And then the next day look at it and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna delete it and start over. Because like I have really some everydays that I they are not even quality wise bad, but they just don't fit. Like it's just weird to post that
yeah,
on. So I sometimes start over, but happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year, like not often. And yeah, like most of the time I'm at 1 day ahead anyway, so I have time to do something else.
okay, I see. Because I asked the same question to Mike, Beeple,
Yeah.
and he said to me that his rule is that the work that he does as a everyday needs to be started and finished in the same day.
That day, yeah, I know, and I used to do that as well, but you know, sometimes sometimes, for example, if I go on vacation or something, I don't really have a laptop to render on. I have a laptop to work on because I only have the Octane demo on it,
Yeah.
so I can work on it, but I cannot render something. And so anytime I go on vacation, I have to do like 14 every days ahead and then upload them through the 2 weeks that I'm not there. But normally I'm 1 day ahead. Like for the past week, I've been 1 day ahead, and now I'm 5 days ahead. And the whole like full February, I was doing that very every day on that same day,
Okay.
just because I wasn't like scheduled very well. But it really depends on how I feel. Like sometimes I do an every day in the morning, and then throughout the day I'm like, you know what, I can do another one, and I'm 1 day ahead for tomorrow. And then tomorrow I don't have to stress out like what could I do, for example. But yeah, I don't really follow that rule that Mike has.
Yeah, that rule, it's crazy. And actually, I've
Yeah,
seen the guy in action doing the everyday.
yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you know the story, but when he came to Vienna to speak at the D2 conference,
Hmm.
he took his computer with him every time. And
Oh yeah,
during that time, I think there was like the football cup, something like either the European Cup or the World Cup. I don't remember. And he was watching the match with a bunch of people from the D2, 4 o'clock in the morning, whilst making an everyday.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing.
And you could see like there is a picture somewhere on the internet where these guys are looking at the computer of Mike whilst the match is playing in the back, and it's like a bunch of people looking at him working, and it's just. But anyway, let me ask you,
That's
because
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
he's out of this world, that guy. You have been doing this for how long now? Because you're very young. How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
22.
Um,
Jesus.
yeah, I've been doing this, like I've been doing every days for just over 3 years, and I've been doing 3D for I think about 5 years. I'm not sure, about 5 years, something like that. I started with Blender for a year, and then I switched to Cinema 4D.
How did you get started? Because, like, do you have these type of schools where you live, where you could learn a little bit, move your first steps?
Kind of. We do have art schools. They teach a little bit of 3D, but like my sister is in that art school right now. Like not right now, but she does go to that art school, and
You,
they
you
learn a
said your
little bit.
sister.
Yeah, my little sister. Yeah,
Okay. The internet is
and
getting a little bit jumpy. That's why I asked
yeah,
that.
yeah, and so they what they do is they learn a little bit of 3D, a little bit of 3D printing and photography and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't think we have something like that. we have a university for movie making, but that doesn't really involve 3D at all. So we have to rely on YouTube and self-teaching. That's it. But I got started with it because I used to make music and I was looking for visuals. Like that's how I got into Beeple, because like I found his visuals, which are all free. And so I was like, yeah, how does he do it? Like 3D software. Okay, what is the best 3D software? Obviously Blender. And so I started with Blender and started doing that. And I quickly found out, wait a second, this stuff doesn't look like Beeple's stuff. And instead of thinking, okay, I'm too bad, I was like, you know what, I need his software. So I got a C4D license, like that student license. And a couple of months later, I got Octane. And once I got Octane, I really got into it, like, because Octane really changed everything from how it looked. Because I remember struggling with the physical render so hard. Like there are people doing insane stuff with the physical render, which I cannot understand to this day. But yeah, once I got Octane, it really got started. Like that's.
I've had a couple of runs with Octane in the past, and I have to say it's an extremely good and easy to use render.
Yeah, it's exactly. The only thing is, like, for now, like fog is still really slow, like fog rendering.
Okay.
Like volumetrics and stuff is quite slow still. But other than that, I think Octane is really, really good. I've got a couple of runs with Redshift already, and I must say, like, volumetrics in there are super fast. But Octane is getting faster too. Like they are getting RTX support and stuff like that on the new 2020 versions, and it gets a lot faster. Like for example, in this machine right here, I have a GTX 1080 Ti, which is another RTX card, and a fog scene, let's say, takes 7 minutes to render for a frame. That computer over there with two RTX 2080 Ti's can do it under 20 seconds. The same scene, just because it has RTX support, and it's so much faster.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about your specs, because for sure the question will come up, and
yeah,
I will ask you.
So
what is your rig at the moment?
I'm using two computers. I have a working machine, which is this one. It has an i7 4790K, a GTX 1080 Ti, and 32 gigabytes of RAM. And the other computer, which is, it's not a render slave, but I use it as such. Like you can also work on it because it has a full license for Octane and Cinema 4D and everything. It has an i7 8700K, 32 gigs of RAM, and two RTX 20 Ti's. And like the whole system is connected to a NAS, which is like a small server for storage with about 10 terabytes of storage for now. That's my rig at the moment. Yeah.
So there are some questions coming in. There is somebody asking, how do you make money? We already have covered that. But eventually I want to go a little bit back to this. Somebody's asking also if you use Fiverr. Do you use Fiverr?
No, I don't.
Okay. Would you recommend people to use Fiverr?
If you want to buy art for cheap, yes. If you're an artist, probably not. But because that's actually a funny story, because if people come to me and ask you, can you do me an artwork? And I'm like, yeah, of course, it costs this much money. They go, no, that's too expensive. Can you do it for cheaper? And I'm like, you know what? Just go onto Fiverr and look for somebody. And they're always like, no, not Fiverr. But honestly, there are some good people on Fiverr. Really, like some of the artworks are really, really good. That's what I mean. Like some of the artwork are so good that I think like, why do you sell them for $5? Yeah. Make it like 200 or something. Yeah. But that's why Fiverr is really good if you're looking for artwork, but if you want to sell it, I don't know if it's a really good thing to use, because like everything is so cheap.
Have you seen the video that I made about Fiverr?
I remember seeing it on Facebook. I don't know if I watched it. I think I did, but I'm not too sure. Yeah.
You probably remember it if you watched it. But anyway, you can do that later.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
No, but just to repeat to those who are just tuning in, you basically don't work full time as an artist. You're only doing it
No,
part
no.
time. And
Yes.
as a full time job, what do you do?
I work in my family's apartment hotel.
Okay, so that we got this out of the way. Okay, so let me ask you, how did the interest towards your work started to spark? How did you start to spark interest in clients? That's what I wanna ask. How did the first
That's
clients come to you?
that's a good question. Like, I think the first real clients came over Facebook actually because I don't know. Do you know a guy, a VFX freak? He's like
I
on
cannot say.
Instagram. Like he's also every. I don't know if he still does every day, but he's a 3D artist that showed me how to use Facebook, like how to get likes on your page, like how to like share stuff and how that works. And once he showed me that, I got a lot of likes on my page quickly, and that with that came a lot of clients. And the first clients were actually really good clients. Like I know stories about people like not paying, cheaping out, and stuff like that. I never really had that, fortunately, which is a miracle. Like I never had, I maybe had one or two clients that were not that good, but that's it. Like all the other clients were really good. And yeah, the first clients came over Facebook, and it was all album artwork or music videos or like little loops for videos. And then once Instagram started blowing up, I got big clients. Like I remember the first big client I had was 𝘀𝗶𝗃𝗃,
Mm,
which were the first big clients, and they were really nice, like really nice guys, super interested in it as well. And I think once that was over, I got like known in the more famous scene, like more like that more famous people were having an eye on me. For example, yeah, the supervisor manager. No, what is it? No, it's the no, it's the VJ of Omnia, which is in Las Vegas. That guy is a good friend of mine, and through him I got the jobs for example, for Excision and stuff. But all in all, it comes down to knowing people to get these kind of jobs. Like you don't even have to know the famous people; you just have to know people who know them. That's all.
but how did you get to work, say, with Skrillex? I mean, that's a big deal.
That was actually so his label Osla. They asked me if they can use one of my everydays to promote their like to put on their Instagram site, and I said sure, of course. And after that, they asked if I had like visuals that or if I do that, and I was like, actually, I just made a Skrillex visual for fun. Like sometimes I do that also to then post, and then maybe somebody sees it.
Yeah.
And I did a huge visual with like a Skrillex logo in the middle and like some what is it, like really colorful glitch effects around it, which was in the same format as Instagram, like this what is it, 1080 by 1350. So I sent that over to them, and they actually ended up using it in Las Vegas on a building. Like it was a, I
Really?
don't know, 50-story building, and they used that there. And I didn't even know they used it because like they never said anything to me. But a friend of mine, Matthew, he was at that party in Vegas, and
Really?
he filmed that building and put it on his feed in Facebook, and I was like, yeah, dude, you know, I made that. And that was amazing. So yeah, that's how that went down.
And do you still have a relationship with these artists? Do you still get called to make work for them?
I haven't heard anything from Osla, but I do have probably some more work coming on with the guys from Excision. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
because
that's
like his tour, I don't even know how much I am allowed to say, but I think I can say that it's just that the whole tour gets new visuals.
okay.
That's
That's
and
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, there are some entertainers that they really go the extra mile to make sure that the live performance is so much better than the music that they're actually selling.
That is
And
right. Yeah.
there is a an author that I'm completely in love with, which is Travis Scott.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
And the
He has
music,
also
it's
amazing visuals.
yeah, the
Yeah.
music it's great, but if you see like the shows that he does, I mean, I've heard in one of the videos that there is a documentary on Netflix also, that some of the shows that he does, he has to do them for like a week because it's so difficult to build the set somewhere else that it's better to have people flying to a place and just do it 7 nights in a row so that they get the
Yeah, that's
proper
right.
treatment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's right. That's right.
to me this is amazing because it's like we always talk about how can artists differentiate one another, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is also a little bit the case with you, with the work that you do, because even though you're doing an everyday and everyday's were inspired by people, there is no going back before
No,
people,
no,
uh,
that's right.
but
Yeah.
still you can recognize when it's your work. There is a style, there is a
Yes.
quality to it. Would you mind expanding a little bit on that, because your style it's
On that style.
recognizable? Yes.
Really? Is it? Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
amazing.
When I see one of your images, I know automatically that it's you that has done it.
I think what makes the difference is that what I do a lot is I don't really look up on YouTube how to make certain things. I just try around as much until it works. And for example, if like I really like having to think about this stuff a lot. Like for example, my mud shader and my snow shader that I made, like to put snow on cars and stuff like that, which is all just Octane nodes. I don't go into YouTube and look up how to make snow on cars. I'm like, technically it's just a fall off map inside a node, like mixing two materials. Like for example, this is like the thing I think, and that is for everything that is in my everydays, fog and lighting and stuff like that. So um, I think that makes a big difference, like because I have my own kind of workflow, and that changes how the picture looks in the end. Because for example, to this day, I don't really know how to properly use HDRI maps. Like, I know how to use them, but they never look really good. Like I don't know, something I'm doing something wrong with HDRIs, but in order to, for example, fix that, I use like certain fog settings to make it look better. And that's, for example, I think one of the signature looks that you mean, like the way the fog and the environment starts to look if I use that technique. And yeah, that I think that's what makes out my style, like just the way the lighting looks.
Okay.
And something it's a little secret, but I can tell a little bit of it. What I do in post to make it look better is I slightly over sharpen the everyday.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Probably
I
that's also.
yeah, because then it looks really crisp on Instagram.
Yeah. And also, like, it
So
reminds me a little bit of like the artwork that it's used for video games, like I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, but like not the
yeah,
newest ones, but a little bit more old
the
school
old
ones.
ones.
So there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like all this influence coming from all these different places, and you know, honestly, it makes me happy because it it shows that
yeah.
there are some people that make the effort to be different, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I try to. I remember in the beginning of every days where all I could do is copy people, like really just copy his artwork. Not because I wanted to sell it as mine, but just to practice, like, to have something and see like, okay, this looks like that, just like that. And I remember getting a lot of bad comments, especially in like Octane and Cinema 4D groups on Facebook about like start doing your own stuff and I was always like, it's not that easy in the beginning. Like your own style is what develops over time. You don't just have it.
Mm.
You just you first you have to start with something, and then even if that's copying somebody, but your own style will eventually come out of that. And that's what happened like 1.5 years ago only. Like I remember the time before that, it was definitely not recognizable as my own artwork. Like it was just, okay, that's another sci-fi artwork, or that's another everyday people artwork or something like that. And now it's really getting into like where I think I have my own style of things. For example, the broken down cars in the swamps and stuff. That's what really started Instagram going, because I remember that one every day I did with the McLaren in the what is it, like, I don't even know, it was a lake or something that I made. That one got like 15,000 likes in a matter of 2 days. And that was like, when that every day came out, I only had 16 or 17,000 followers.
How many do you have at the moment?
Almost 44,000.
Oh my god, that's unbelievable. Like there is, I see like younger people have a easier way around social media of communicating that people in my generation do. And I'm always very curious about it because, you know, before you mentioned something to me that got my curiosity, and maybe it's something that you can also share with the people that are watching this.
Yeah.
You said that somebody showed you how to get likes on Facebook.
Yes.
What
exactly.
was actually this technique? Is it something that you can share?
Sure. So on Facebook, it was instead of just sharing artwork on my page, it's actually sharing that artwork from my page into 3D sci-fi groups, like with many people. And so what I did, I joined all those groups, and then every day I uploaded a picture. I just shared that picture into like 10 to 20 groups. And I made sure like I had a list with all the schedules, because obviously you can't, not every group is allowing daily posts because it would be spamming. So I looked out like to only post in certain groups every day, and then like good artworks only in that group, and so on. And that worked like really fast. Like I remember I had 100 likes on my page, and within 2 days I reached 2,000.
Wow.
2 days. Like it really well. And then like obviously it started getting slower after a time. Like I think once I had like 5,000, it started going really slow.
Okay.
But that's when Instagram started off already. Like I used hashtag generator for Instagram. Like basically it's a website. You can put in your topic, like 3D CGI Octane, for example, and it starts creating 3 blocks of like 10 hashtags each. So you have 30 in total, which is the maximum you can have on Instagram. And I started using those, and I changed them every week, and it really works out. Because if you use them for too long, like you can risk to get what's called a shadow ban, which is essentially you don't get banned or anything, but your artworks just don't show up in the explore page anymore, for example.
Okay.
For a certain time, because you use the same hashtags for too long. So spamming and botting and stuff like that. So what you have to do is like change them. I don't even know how often, but I do it every week. And I have only got shadow banned once, which was like 2 months ago. But
that somebody's saying that you guys cannot hear me. Is it true? Can you hear me? Tony, I'm sorry if you can't, but I think that people can hear me because they've been asking questions. Somebody's asking if you have tried 3ds Max before or after going Cinema 4D. Have you?
I haven't tried it at all. Like I've never really used it. The only reason I have 3ds Max is to convert 3ds files to C4D files. That's really the only reason. Like I have a student license for that as well. But I really only use it to convert files. Like, for example, if I buy a model and I see, oh, it's only 3ds Max, just convert it to FBX or something. but I actually used Maya before Cinema 4D for like a couple of weeks, but
Okay.
it wasn't really my type of interface. Just like Houdini, they're all really good softwares, but I just don't. It's not really my software.
I see. Okay, so people are saying that they can hear me, but I'm quieter. I don't know what it's happening. This version of OBS is giving me really, really weird. I don't know.
You should have like two volume sliders for like one for your mic and one for desktop audio.
I do. I have a audio interface, but the audio
Oh,
interface
okay.
says that I'm picking.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. Yeah, no, it's OBS because OBS, since I updated it, there were a couple of settings that got changed, and so maybe I
Oh,
have to go and do a little bit of editing into the settings. But anyway, I wanna take the opportunity to ask the guys that are listening from home and that are watching this from probably still their bed or their breakfast
yeah.
table if if there are any questions that they want to ask you. And sorry guys for doing this as a surprise sort of live show, but I like, these are times where I'm trying to give as much spontaneous content to those who are watching me and that are looking at this, the stuff that I put out, because these are weird times. And, with this
Yeah.
coronavirus, everybody has been affected one way or another. And I believe it's probably the same thing with you, right, Fabian?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. It's just the feeling around it is really weird. Like it's
This is low season
yeah.
for you guys with the hotel, right?
Low season.
Yeah, like you don't have many tourists during this
Oh
time,
no no no
usually.
no. Yeah,
Okay.
well, all the tourists that were to come don't come now,
Yeah,
so
they cancelled.
it's like empty. Yeah, yeah.
It's unbelievable, like, because this is one of the things where people ask me all the time, what do you think we should do? And as of now,
Mhm.
honestly, like, I don't know where to start, like, to me,
Yeah,
it
right.
seems like the most important thing for us is to survive.
Yeah, and to stay calm for once, like, because everybody is like, oh, I need to go grocery shopping, I need to do that, and like, chill for a second, just plan when you go grocery shopping, and then just go out, get your groceries, go home. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Like
know, like,
the stores are not empty. Like it's not like if you don't go now, you don't get anything anymore.
though in the south of Italy, it's complete chaos. But
Yeah,
that's also an issue of like organization and everything. I talk to my parents and they complain, they try to talk to the police and the police doesn't know. They try to talk to the person that does the whatever and they don't know. Nobody knows. And it's
yeah,
typical of
nobody
the
knows.
south of Italy. I'm from the
But
south
there
of
are
Italy, so.
certain yeah, but there are certain things that you just can't know. Like there are some things that you can't ask anybody because nobody knows that,
Yeah.
and people are expecting to get answers from everything for everything, and it's not possible in that situation because the situation is so new, like so
No,
surreal.
it's true. But, the thing is that, I mean, it is known. It's, we're not trying to look down on anybody, but in the south of Italy, things work
Oh yeah,
worse than in the north. And I was
that
reading
is
one of
probably
these.
true. Yeah.
I was reading one of these sarcastic newspapers, Italian newspapers, where they say that in I think in Campania, which is the region where I'm from, no, was
Yeah.
Calabria, um, that
See. Yeah.
they were going to convert hospitals into hospitals.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because like the hospitals don't work. Somebody's asking if the live stream of the competitions will be done. Yes, of course. On Sunday we're gonna do a live stream at around 6 o'clock Central Europe time, 7 o'clock Central Europe time. And I can tell you that one of the judges is in the chat right now. So, be nice. But I'm going to have two judges. which are going to help me making a decision as of who is going to be the winner. And I'm really looking forward to this, because maybe we can start a positive trend. Maybe we can start something good for the community. And like, my channel is relatively young. I've been doing this only for a couple of years, 3 years. But if we can grow it into something where sponsors want to give us a little bit more money, we can make giveaways that are even bigger than the one that I've just did. Why not?
That's
Fabian,
awesome, yeah.
a question for you. How do you generate concepts for your dailies when you feel a little bit dry up with ideas? That's a great question. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, it is. So what I do, like when I really don't have any idea what to do, I usually just go onto ArtStation and type in a genre of artwork that that I feel like doing, for example, sci-fi or environments or something like that. And then I look I look in the middle of the screen and just scroll through very, very, very fast, like as fast as I can without looking at a certain image. And that way, what that does is it's something psychological. Like, you get inspired from what you see, but since you didn't really see anything, you subconsciously pick up certain parts from what you saw, and that way you can get inspired without risking to copy anybody's work, even without wanting to. Because, for example, if I look at one image, I'm like, oh, this looks cool, I want to do something like that. If you want to do something like that, it's probably gonna turn out just like like recognizable, you know what I mean? Like, you just take the concept and make it your own. Instead, for example, if I look through the feed very fast, I get like small parts of colors and like really just shapes, for example, and certain looks, but without really knowing the scene. And yeah, that's what I usually do, like just scrolling through it for a couple of minutes and then starting to do something.
That's amazing. It's a little bit like what Mike Golden talks about when he makes his own artworks, that he starts with a very little thumbnail, and in that little thumbnail he can see some composition, and then he can take that concept and expand on it.
Exactly,
and in a way, this is probably one way to backward engineer the process without making the thumbnail, right?
Exactly, yeah. So basically what you get is you just see the look of the image without seeing the scene of the image. Yeah.
Beautiful. Let me say, there is a guy watching right now. His name is Roberto Marin. He has an Italian podcast, which is actually really, really cool. It is about architecture, but the work that you do, it's tightly close to the architecture work, because we do architecture visualization, you do art, but you use architecture very often in your artwork, right? And so maybe, Roberto, you should interview Fabian, because Fabian actually speaks Italian.
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah. It's not as good as my English, but I do, yeah.
But it's weird to me to talk to you in Italian, because it's like I keep forgetting that, like, even though you're very close to the Austrian border, you're still Italian.
Yeah. I'm like 2-hour drive and I'm in Austria. and that's only because I first have to drive 1 hour into the south and then back 1 hour into the north to get there.
These bloody mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question that it's a little bit personal.
Sure.
I remember when living in the Alps, because I was a soldier not far from where you live. I used to be a soldier in Badental. What is it called? Grodental. Sorry. Just beside, in the valley beside. And to me, like, already around that time, the scenery and the beautiful nature was an element of inspiration for me. And I want to ask you this because I see you using a lot of nature in your renderings, even though, everything seems to be staged in the future somehow, but still there is a lot of nature. Can you talk a little bit about how this influences you, if it does?
It does a little bit, but like very little. Like because I'm not that much of a nature guy. Like I don't go into the mountains a lot, and like I just don't really enjoy it. I think it looks beautiful, but I just don't enjoy going into the mountains. But when I do, when I do go up or like go to dinner or lunch somewhere up in the mountains, because like I can go up the mountain with like the what is it called, the chairlift? I don't know.
Yeah,
What is it called?
the chairlift.
Yeah. Like I can go up to a restaurant like in 1,500 meters height in a matter of 20 minutes and go eat there. And sometimes I do in the summer with my dad, for example. And sometimes things I see there inspire me, but that's about it. Like most of my inspiration for nature comes from. Oh, that's actually a good question. I get it mostly from like post-apocalyptic artwork, like when everything is overgrown, and then I do that, but just leave away the buildings and like. Yeah, that's a really tough question. I don't know where I get my nature inspiration from.
No, but
I really don't know.
Like maybe I took a very wild stab in the dark with my question, but there is a funny thing
No.
that it happened to me a couple of months ago when I was traveling through India. I saw certain places which are basically an Indian interpretation of an Italian restaurant. And so you go into these places and they look like copies of Italian small streets, but you can tell that they're not correct. Like there is something that doesn't fit. And I have a couple of friends of mine that, Indian friends, that have made artworks about the city of Venice or Rome or whatever. And they looked like those places in India. So
That's awesome.
So at a certain level, maybe we are subconsciously inspired by our environments. We simply don't know, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because I'm sure that a lot of it inspires me, but I don't know. Like it's really not something that I actively see. Like that's also when tourists come here, like the mountains are so beautiful. How are you not up in the mountains every day? I'm like, I live here. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling. I know it's like, my dad is a big mountain guy. He loves it, even though he's from the south. And as I told you, I used to be a professional skier. So, I spent quite a bit on the mountains. And I remember when I was a soldier, my dad would come and see me. And I'll be like bored sitting somewhere. My dad will be like, "Are you stupid? You're not looking at the mountains." And I'm like, "Dad, I see it every day."
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's really it. Yeah.
Fabian, let me ask you a question that probably it's more for those who are just starting out. Looking back and seeing at the way you have grown as an artist over the past 5 years, how you got to the position in which you are now, what are some of the things that you might want to recommend to those who are just starting out and are probably trying to find their position on this planet as an artist, as a visual designer? What would be a couple of things that you could recommend to these guys?
So I think the most important thing is to keep doing what you like and not do what I did for a couple of months and only look at Instagram likes and make your content based on that. Because I used to do that. I used to, like, for example, see, okay, I want to do an apocalyptic artwork, but that's not going to get many likes. So let's just do a synthwave artwork. And that's what I did for a couple of months. And it really wasn't fun, but it worked out on Instagram. I gotta say, it worked out very well, but it's not really what you should do. I think you should really do what you really like doing, because especially in fields like art and stuff like that, you can see on the artwork if somebody did it with passion or not. And that's really what gets you a lot of clients, for example, because people start seeing, okay, that guy does this, and I want this, so I need this artist. So eventually what you should try to achieve is make yourself irreplaceable. For example, your target is to get clients that don't want a visual artist. You want to get clients that want you for what you do. And that's stuff that only you can do, for example. There are people that can copy that, but you do it. And that way you can also, that way the clients that come to you are actually like clients that are gonna come back again after. Yeah, about getting the clients is like the best thing to do is really do consistent good work on social media. That's really what helps. It doesn't have to be every day, because like not everybody wants or is able to do every day time wise. But even though if it's just weekly posts, that's enough. It just has to be consistent. So people know that every time they go into Instagram, they have something new to look at. So they stay and new people come and follow you. And the more people or the more followers you have, the bigger the chance is that there's some good clients around it.
Let me answer some of the questions in the chat. Basically,
yeah, sure.
People are asking, what is with the bat behind you in the corner?
Oh, that's that bat. Like it's I don't even know where I got. My mom and her brothers, they used to go to the US a lot, like back in the 70s, 80s. And my brother was 14. My uncle was 14 years old when he got there for the first time. And the first thing he bought was a baseball bat because they weren't around here. And when he moved out of his house, he got it, like he gave it to me because I'm a huge America fan. Like I love the US. I'm going there every year. And I thought, like, an actual American baseball bat is pretty cool. It's just back there because I don't have any other place to put it.
And it's also used to get paid from your clients in the hotel of your parents. Otherwise, you kick them out.
Exactly, yeah. Put some barbed wire around it as well.
Man, believe it or not, we've been talking for, I think, more than an hour. I don't know. We started talking at an hour and 10 minutes ago. Dude, I want to wrap it up. I want to say thank you for taking the time for doing this. I'm going to leave all the links.
Sure, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. You're so talented and you're such a nice guy. I've had the chance to meet you in person and to talk to you, and so I can vouch for that you're an incredible guy. And I look forward
Thanks so much. That really means a lot to me. Thank you.
I really look forward to seeing you again. Are you going to be anywhere in the future that you know of? Like, as of now, I can understand that it's a little bit difficult to make that kind of prediction because of the coronavirus.
So yes, I have nothing planned at the moment, but if I can come, like we talked about, I'm definitely coming to D2 again.
So you'll be there and people can come and say hi.
Definitely, yeah. Like if the situation lets it go like that, sure, yeah.
We're still hoping for things to get better, and we're trying to do everything we can to be in contact with the authorities and talking to those who will make the decision in the end if it's allowed or not. But it's as of now,
like because over there it's like a perfect place to meet people that people that can help you out. For example, because meeting Mike, for example, Mike Golden, like he has been like really nice to me and helped me a lot out like lately. And those events are the best to meet people.
You hear, Mike? You hear it?
Yeah. Is he in the chat?
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's listening. He's trolling Jason.
That's
he's
awesome,
calling him James. But anyway, dude, listen, I want to thank you one more time for taking the time to talk to me. I'm going to stop the live. Don't go anywhere. I'll put all the links into the description of the video so that people can find you and come and say hi.
Perfect. Yeah.
I want to thank you again for taking the time for doing this. Don't go anywhere. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. And I guess I will see you in next video, probably sometime soon. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching.
Bye.